This is exactly what's happening in your body right now. You look fine on the outside, your labs come back normal, the doctor says there's nothing wrong with you. But when you get a chance to detox and squeeze out what's been accumulating, you'll see exactly what's been going on. This is my client, Lauren. Over the years, she spent thousands on specialists. All she heard was try this supplement or this new medication, or maybe try that particular diet or pull this food out of your diet. Then I helped her detox properly, and for the first time, her digestive issues, her brain fog, pretty much all of her symptoms that she'd had for 20 years finally disappeared. In this video, I'm going to break down what detox really is, what it isn't, and what exactly happens inside of your body, and why most doctors can't explain any of it. Let's start with what's probably the most misunderstood concept in health today. I think most people today think detox means drinking green juices for 3 days to a week, taking expensive supplements that flush out all of your toxins. And trust me, some people out there think detox is just not drinking in January. I mean, that's what I thought before I got into any of this sort of stuff. Detox isn't something that you do to your body. It's something that your body does naturally every single day. What's really important to understand is your body is a self-healing mechanism. It heals on its own. But in today's world, we have a real problem. Our bodies have the same genetic wiring as our hunter-gatherer ancestors. So we haven't evolved, but our environment has massively evolved. In the last 50 years, over 80,000 chemicals have been released into the environment. Toxins are literally everywhere. They're in our food, our air, our water. We are exposed from every single touch point that we're being exposed to. So the main toxins we're exposed to today come under really 4 categories. The first one is chemicals. So there's things like phthalates, parabens, forever chemicals. You've probably heard these terms before. The next one is heavy metals. So they're mined from the Earth's crust. These are things like mercury, cadmium, aluminum. There's lots of these different heavy metals that are now pretty much in everything in our personal care products, lead in lipstick, for example. The third one is non-native electromagnetic frequencies. So these are from our smartphones, our smart devices. I'm literally surrounded right now by smart technology doing this video for you. So those are non-native electromagnetic frequencies. And the fourth one, which really doesn't get a lot of attention today, is artificial blue light. Again, got some artificial blue light here. We get that from our smartphones, smart TVs, smart everything. If we're working shift work, that is, again, artificial blue light that is damaging to our bodies. These spectrums of light can be really harmful and our body doesn't recognize them as healthy. Essentially, to really simplify it, like you have healthy food and junk food, you have healthy lights and you have junk lights. And that is the fourth toxin that we're exposed to pretty much every single day. So here's the deal. If we're accumulating toxins faster than our body can release them, there's going to be a bit of a delta there. And that delta isn't working in our favor. And when we start accumulating toxins faster than our body can release, that's when our body starts creating compensation mechanisms like plaques and stones and storing toxins in fat tissue. And that essentially stops our body working as it should. For example, when a car is brand new, it leaves the forecourts. New, everything's clean, everything's fresh. But just imagine that car never got serviced. And 20 years later, you pop the hood open and it's full of gunk and the oil's sludgy and there's leaves and there's a raccoon in there or whatever. Essentially means the engine can't work as effectively, but you clean it up, you change the oil, you give it a full service, it's gonna work pretty well. And it's the same with our organs today. We are being exposed to all these different chronic exposures, and over time, these toxins, these chemicals, these heavy metals, they are accumulating in our body over time, over many, many, many years. And then eventually our organs are congested, fat tissue's full of crap, and that manifests in us getting symptoms and not feeling well. And over the years, I've worked with hundreds of clients who were doing like the juice cleanses and the expensive supplements, all of that stuff, but they weren't addressing the actual issue. And the issue was they were just full to the brim of this congestion. And as I said, as we accumulate chemicals and heavy metals, the body will create these defense mechanisms where they encapsulate them in stones and plaques and all of this nasty stuff, which clogs us up. And that's when we slow down. That's when we basically just can't function. Think of it like this. If you have a clogged drain in your house, you don't fix it by pouring more water down the sink. You clear the blockage first. So your detox pathways are like a drainage funnel. It's how toxins essentially leave your body. And there is a specific order that it does this. It starts at a cellular level. Toxins move from your cells into your organs and then into your lymphatic system. From there, they go to your liver for processing, turning fat-soluble toxins into water-soluble toxins. Your liver then sends that waste product to the colon via your bile flow. Your bile flow is what pushes those toxins out of the liver. If any part of that detox pathway gets backed up, if your colon's blocked, for example, or if your liver's sluggish, the whole system backs up very quickly. That's why you can't take a quick fix detox supplement and expect everything thing to be fixed. You have to open the entire detox pathway from the bottom up. So just like fixing that clogged drain, you clear the blockage at the source. So what actually happens inside your body in the first 48 hours of your detox pathways starting to open up? This is the moment your body starts shifting gears. Your body begins to pull stored toxins out of the fat tissue, out of the organs, and back into circulation. Bile flow increases, your liver workload spikes, and your body starts using far more minerals to process what's being released. At the same time, your inflammation can temporarily rise because things that were quietly tucked away are now being moved through your system. So to give you an idea of what that looks like, imagine walking into a house that hasn't been touched for like 20 years. It's just been dormant for literally 20 years. You take one step inside and the dust flies into the air. It's all been sitting there undisturbed until you literally walk in and move it. Detox works the same way. When you stir things up, they start recirculating in the body, and that wave of movement can trigger what people call as a healing reaction or a Herx reaction or Herxing. So recently we had a new client join our flagship program, and we got her on the basics, like light minerals, some elimination support. And within 48 hours, she reached out telling me that she was having these real bad flu-like symptoms. And essentially, this is quite rare, but she was very sensitive. And just having extra minerals and having some elimination support put too much into the system at one time. And really like a bottleneck, those toxins couldn't leave. And then they started to recirculate in the body. So we were able to turn it around very quickly, got her on some binders. But again, it shows you that when you start stirring up toxins quickly, you can basically start getting these symptoms coming out of nowhere. As I said, that's really rare, but it's just an example to show you that when you bring things up that have been stored away for pretty much, you could say since you were born, it's going to cause some symptoms if you don't know how to handle it correctly. As I said, we got her in binders and we resolved it very quickly, but that's the type of situation that can happen. So during this first phase of reigniting your body's detox capacity, you need to focus on three things. So the first thing I recommend is literally rest. When your body is detoxing, it needs energy to do so. So if you're running around from meeting to meeting, you're pulling energy away from the detox process. The second thing is to make sure that you are pooping every single day. As toxins start to come into circulation, if you're not pooping, it's going to recirculate very quickly. So before you do any heavy lifting, make sure you're pooping regularly. And the third thing you want to do is to make sure that you're taking a binder to grab onto those toxins as they're coming into circulation. So now that you know what detox actually is and what happens in the first 48 hours, let's look at how to actually do it properly. The biggest mistake I see people make with detox is they think it's about adding in more stuff. Things like detox teas, supplements, expensive protocols. What stuff can I add in to get a better result, essentially? But here's the deal. Real detox is about removing what's been blocking your body, doing what it naturally knows what it needs to do. Again, it's a self-healing mechanism. You need a specific sequence to follow, and this matters more than most people realize. I could spend hours going into detail here, but I just want to simplify and give you an overview approach of this process. So step one is stop bringing in the garbage. So you need to clean up your external environment. If you're living in a swamp, you're going to be drowning in toxins. Look at your personal care products, look at what you're cooking your food in, what you're storing your food in, what clothes are you wearing, what you put on your skin. That whole piece is really important. You basically want to do a full audit of your home. We are being exposed to thousands of chemicals every single day in our homes without even realizing it. The Environmental Working Group did a study and found that the average American woman is exposed to 168 chemicals before she leaves the home every single morning. That just puts into context how many toxins we are exposed to unknowingly every single day. Step two is to rebuild your internal resources. So detox is very depleting. So for example, when you jump into a sauna, and saunas are very good for you, yes, you sweat out toxins, but you also sweat out minerals. Detox is a mineral depleting activity, and we need minerals, not just for detox, we need it to function and be healthy, full stop. You need to make sure that your body has the energy to detox. So make sure that your diet, your mineral status, and also your hydration is on point. You need the building blocks in place, or detox simply doesn't work. Step three is to open up your detox pathways properly. So we start with the colon, which is at the bottom of the drainage funnel. If that's blocked, nothing's getting out. So we need to make sure that's moving every single day, at least 1 or 2 times a day. And then we move up to the liver. So you can use things like dandelion root. That is amazing for stimulating bile flow. Castor oil packs are really good. Coffee enemas, which I've spoken about before on the channel. And obviously the biggest heavy hitter when it comes to detox is liver flushing. And step 4, we want to clean up our internal terrain. So we want to get our lymph moving. So we can use healing solvents like castor oil or DMSO. These essentially are compounds that help loosen up the congestion and move toxins through our body, down the detox pathways and out via the stool. There are 4 steps to follow. Let me give you some action points today on step 1 to get you moving. So number 1 is to remove all ultra-processed foods from your pantry. Really simple. If your great-grandmother wouldn't recognize the food, don't eat it. Number 2 is clean up your water. Get a water purification system in place. Remember, if you don't have a filter, your liver becomes the filter. You can do reverse osmosis, distilled, carbon filtration. My personal favorite is distilled, but you have to make sure you're filtering your water. And number 3, you want to fix your phone hygiene. Non-native EMFs cause havoc with our nervous system. So number 1, remove your phone from where you sleep. Yes, I get it. You can put it on flight mode, but it's still not good for you being there. And some devices can still emit a low level of non-native EMFs. I wouldn't have your phone in your pocket. And also just think about I call it your technology philosophy. I read a stat the other day that 97% of people are with their phones 100% of the time. Think about, having time off from your phone. Ultimately, distance is our friend when it comes to non-native electromagnetic fields. So here's the question I get a lot. Why do symptoms disappear when you start detoxing, and why can't traditional or even functional medicine explain it? So 10 years ago, I had loads of health issues. I had digestive problems, I had anxiety. My hormones were literally rock bottom. I'd seen the specialists, I'd spent a lot of money trying to figure it out. I did all the lab tests you can imagine, and most of them came back normal or just below range. And essentially, I was just given supplements. So I was working with numerous functional medicine practitioners, and it kind of felt like it was just doctors 2.0. Rather than getting a medication, I was just getting pills that essentially, I was just supposed to take forever. And I remember thinking, surely this isn't the answer of I've got this problem. It's not like I'm deficient in these supplements and I have to take them forever. But when I discovered detoxification, that's when everything changed. And once I figured out how to detox, because again, I was just throwing stuff at a wall and hoping it would stick. Once I figured it out, that's when I started to see everything shift in my body. My energy came back, my hormones rebalanced, everything just got back to normal because my body's self-healing mechanism was able to do its job. It was cleared of all the interference and it just went ahead and basically got me feeling normal again. When I reflect back, I think these functional medicine practitioners weren't looking at how my body could create balance on its own. It was looking to patch things up with supplements. They were just trying to add things on top to force the balance. So supplements, protocols, more inputs, instead of asking what's blocking the body from creating the balance in the first place. Standard medical tests, allopathic and functional, they're designed to find dysfunction. They don't measure for toxic load. For example, if you have elevated liver enzymes, they don't identify what's causing the elevated liver enzyme. And most likely it's toxins. So when you remove the toxins clogging your system, the symptoms you were told were chronic start to disappear. I've seen this so many times with my clients over the years. Chronic arthritic joints reversing, skin conditions clearing when people were told they needed to basically be in medications or creams for the rest of their life. I've worked with women with persistent hormonal issues returning to normal after literally trying everything. Really good example was my client George. He had really bad skin breakouts covering his face, and he'd gone to dermatologists and they basically told him he needed to be on certain types of medications for the rest of his life. 4 months into a proper detox, his skin completely cleared. Basically, his liver was super congested. Now, in terms of timelines with detox, it really depends. I mean, how toxic are you? How long have you had these issues? How many years have you spent being sick or unwell? It won't take weeks to get better when you've had something going on for a long, long time. Essentially, disease is a process and healing is a process. It took you time to get to where you are. It's going to take you time to get out where you are. So here's what matters most. Your body has everything it needs to heal, but you can't do that when your system is blocked with toxins that keep piling up over time from all of these different chronic exposures that we're exposed to every single day. I shared some of them in this video above. You should check it out. If you want to learn more about how to detox and where to start, download my 10 detox starter tips, link in the description below. It gives you all the starter tips I wish I knew when I was starting my detox journey. It's completely free and gives you all the action points you need to start today. As I said, link in the description, and talk soon.